Welcome to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
Today we're getting stuck into a really significant development in elite rugby. It's the global adoption of the 20-minute red card law. Planet Rugby has covered this quite a bit.
Yeah, it's a big one. Definitely causing ripples.
So we're going to explore what this law actually is, the arguments swirling around it for and against, and crucially, its immediate impact, especially with the Lions series coming up.
Right, unpack the details so everyone's up to speed on this pivotal change.
Exactly. And hey, if you're enjoying this kind of in-depth look, make sure you subscribe to Rugby Obsession for more.
Definitely do.
Okay, so the announcement itself. World Rugby's Council made the decision. 20-minute red card implemented in all elite competitions starting August 1st.
That's the key date, August 1st. And it's broad. We're talking the Women's Rugby World Cup, the U20 Championship.
And the big one everyone's talking about.
And, yeah, the British and Irish Lions series. That's where a lot of the focus is right now, given how close it is.
So let's break down the mechanics. How does it actually work? Player gets a red card. Then what?
Okay, so under this law, when a player gets that red, their team plays shorthanded, but only for 20 minutes. After that 20-minute period, they can bring on a replacement player.
Not the player who got carded, obviously.
No, a different player from the bench. It's a big shift from the old rule where, a red meant playing a man down for the entire rest of the match.
Right. And this hasn't exactly landed quietly, has it? Planet Rugby points out a pretty clear divide in opinion.
Oh, absolutely. You see a definite geographical split. The Southern Hemisphere nations seem, largely in favor.
Whereas up north.
More reservations being expressed, yeah. More caution. Ireland and France, for example, have publicly stated they're against it.
Which is interesting because didn't they actually benefit from this during the Six Nations trial?
Huh. Yeah, there's a bit of irony there. Planet Rugby noted that during that trial phase, Ireland and France were the only teams where it came into play. Remember Nisamac for France against Wales?
Right.
And Ringrose for Ireland, also against Wales, I think. Both got 20-minute reds, meaning their teams weren't permanently down a player.
So let's dig into the against arguments first. What are the main worries?
Well, the big one is player welfare. And tied into that, the ongoing effort to combat concussion.
How so?
The concern is that if the punishment isn't as severe, 20 minutes versus the whole game, it might reduce the deterrent effect. Will players still think twice about a dangerous tackle if they know their team can replace them after 20? That's the fear.
Okay, makes sense. Now, flip side. What's the case for the 20-minute red?
The main proponent seems to be World Rugby itself, through Chair Brett Robinson. He argues, according to Planet Rugby, that it strikes a bitter balance.
Balance between what?
Between penalizing the individual player for the foul play, which still happens, and not overly punishing the entire team and potentially ruining the match as a spectacle for the fans.
So fairness to the game as a whole, keeping it competitive.
Exactly, especially in these big elite competitions. Robinson also brought up data from the trials.
Right, what did the data show? Or not show?
He stated that the trial data hasn't shown an increase in dangerous tackles. That's key. And he stressed that player welfare is still the absolute top priority. If evidence emerged suggesting more risk, they'd halt the trial.
And crucially, this doesn't mean referees have lost their power for really bad incidents, does it?
Not at all. That's important. Referees absolutely still have the authority to issue a full permanent red card, no replacement after 20 minutes, for deliberate, highly dangerous foul play. Acts of thuggery, basically.
Okay. And what about yellow cards? 2 yellows.
2 yellows will now equate to a 20-minute red card, unless, of course, that second yellow offense is serious enough on its own to warrant a straight, full red.
Got it. Now, you mentioned Southern Hemisphere support. Any big names backing this?
Yeah, All Blacks great Justin Marshall has been quite vocal. Planet Rugby picked up on his comments on the GBRNZ podcast.
What was his take?
He was worried about the Lions series, actually. Concerned that an early red card under the old rules could just, kill the game as a contest and ruin the experience for fans who've traveled, paid good money.
Yeah, you can see that point.
He sees this 20-minute rule as a sensible compromise. The player gets punished, the team is down for a significant period, but the game itself isn't necessarily destroyed.
Makes sense. And this isn't just for internationals, is it? It looks like it's filtering down.
That seems to be the plan. Planet Rugby suggests that starting next season, we'll likely see it in the major domestic leagues. The Premiership, URC, Top 14.
And the Champions Cup, too.
And the Champions Cup as well, yes.
Yeah.
It looks set to become the standard across the top level of the game.
And this fits with a wider World Rugby move towards consistency, right? With law trials.
Exactly. They've also decided that all new law trials in the men's game will start on August 1st each year. Just trying to get everyone on the same page, applying the same rules or trials at the same time in international rugby. Makes sense for clarity.
Okay, so we've laid out the details, the arguments. What are your initial gut feelings on this? It feels like quite a shift.
It really does. Look, the intention seems positive, trying to balance safety, fairness, and the spectacle. The data, as Robinson points out, hasn't shown increased danger yet. That yet is important. Ongoing monitoring is vital.
Sure.
But the idea of punishing the player severely, penalizing the team significantly for 20 minutes, but not potentially derailing an entire 80-minute contest? I can see the appeal, especially for fans.
It's definitely going to change how teams approach that period after a red card, tactically.
Yeah, sure. And how players think about the risk-reward of certain challenges, maybe. It's complex.
It really is. And look, this is a huge talking point in rugby right now, so we really want to hear what you think. Are you for the 20-minute red, against it? Where do you stand? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, definitely share your thoughts.
And just a quick reminder, if you appreciate these deep dives, please do subscribe to Rugby Obsession. It helps us keep bringing you this content.
Absolutely. What I find really interesting is just watching this play out, how different parts of the rugby world, different stakeholders, weigh up player welfare against, keeping 80 minutes competitive.
It's a tightrope walk.
It is. And it makes you wonder, doesn't it? How will this actually change the flow of a game? Will teams manage that 20-minute disadvantage differently now? Something for you, the listener, to think about.
We certainly hope this deep dive into World Rugby's 20-minute red card decision has given you a clearer picture of this really important development.
It's definitely got the potential to shake things up, especially in those massive games like the upcoming Lions series.
So don't forget to subscribe to Rugby Obsession. You won't want to miss our future analyses and discussions.
Keep the conversation going.
Thank you for listening to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive. We look forward to you listening to our next episode.